Welcome back, WrestleRanters, to WrestleRant edition number 70. I am, of course, your host, Bleacher 4 Columnist Level 2, Graham GSM Matthews, here tonight to review Friday Night SmackDown for September 7th, 2012, and what a great show it was. Loads of good action, lots of progression towards Night of Champions next Sunday, and a lot of good storytelling as well. To kick off the show, we had Alberto Del Rio talking about Ricardo Rodriguez's injury from this past Monday night when Sheamus Bro kicked him in the face. They were talking about how they were going to sue Sheamus and his bro kick and get it officially banned. David Otunga started talking a load of shit. Personally, I found this as a bit boring segment to kick off the show, although I have been enjoying Alberto Del Rio's push as of late, with victories over Orton, Kane, and Cena in the last few weeks. His promos are still as boring as hell. But with that being said, they at least made sense. It was effective in putting over the main event with Sheamus versus David Otunga later in the night. Not a match that I was really looking forward to, but nonetheless, it was an okay segment. As I said before, pretty boring. Not the best way to kick off the show. They always kick off SmackDown with a promo. I understand with Raw, because Raw is the flagship show, so that makes sense. SmackDown should be more like the wrestling show, so they should kick off the show once in a while with an actual match, and not the same old shit every single week with Sheamus, Booker T, Alberto Del Rio, and another guest person coming in. But nonetheless, moving on to our first match tonight, Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara tag teaming yet again here tonight against a tandem of the Intercontinental Champion The Miz and Cody Rhodes. Yes, we saw this match about 3 weeks ago here on SmackDown, but still, it was a fantastic matchup, a lot of good chemistry between all four guys. Really, really enjoyed it, especially the teaming of Mysterio and Sin Cara. I've been reading in recent days that Mysterio and Sin Cara, their teaming will be a permanent thing going forward, as far as I believe. And then they'll be feuding going into WrestleMania 29 to break that mask record that they wanted to do. If you've been reading about that in the last year, and they wanted to break it at WrestleMania 28, but both guys were injured, so they couldn't do the match. So they're hoping to do it at WrestleMania 29. So then it's a brilliant idea. I love the idea of putting Mysterio and Sin Cara together. I'm not a huge fan of either guy, but putting both guys together would make a dream team and a lot of fun action in the tag team division. Rhodes and Miz, don't take anything away from them. They were a great tandem as well, although they did take the loss here. Nothing against them. Miz gets a pin here from Rey Mysterio, so it kind of makes sense if Mysterio goes back for the Intercontinental Championship going to Night of Champions and next Sunday. That would make the most sense. So up next, we have Zack Ryder versus Daniel Bryan. A good match, although it lasted a few minutes. It was fun for while it lasted. Zack Ryder and Daniel Bryan put on some good action. Other than that, it was mostly focused around Daniel Bryan and his character and the crowd's reaction to him, the yes-no stuff. Really entertaining stuff. I'm loving what Daniel Bryan's been doing in recent months, or in the last year. I mean, as I've said in past videos, Daniel Bryan is the MVP of 2012. He's been doing an excellent job. Zack Ryder, who hasn't really been able to pick up steam since losing momentum earlier this year to Kane, he shined well in this segment as well. I know he looked like a complete doofus, accepting that hug from Daniel Bryan, and then eventually tapping out to the no lock, but nonetheless, he was able to pick up the victory via referee reverse decision, I guess what it's called. I'm not exactly sure what they call that, but nonetheless, by technicality, Zack Ryder defeated a former World Heavyweight Champion, so it's a huge victory for the Long Island IZ. Daniel Bryan loses absolutely nothing from this, and he continues to get over with the crowd wildly. If you saw the crowd, they were battling back and forth between the American Dragon and the Illinois crowd. That was absolutely amazing. Daniel Bryan's interaction with the crowd in recent months has been absolutely phenomenal, so I hope he keeps it going up in coming months, because he's been absolutely amazing. Probably the single most entertaining act in WWE today and in recent months. Up next, a triple threat tag team match. Before that, we had Randy Orton versus Damien Sandow. Damien Sandow comes out, starts cutting a promo, one of his most brilliant promos. I'm botching tonight. As I always say on Twitter, Damien Sandow equals gold. Just put the fucking World Heavyweight Championship on this guy right now. I love this guy so much. Just put the world title on him right now. Wouldn't miss a thing. It fits him perfectly. Nonetheless, he starts cutting a promo. Randy Orton comes out, of course, interrupts and says, "Hi, my name is Randy Orton." Well, no shit, Sherlock. You use the same exact line in every single promo that you do. Nonetheless, it was a very solid match. First time ever. I'm glad that they did not have Orton bury Damien Sandow here by pinning 1, 2, 3. I knew they were probably going to have Orton win here, but I was glad to see them not do it via pinfall, just via countout, just by having Sandow run out as a smart heel that he is. So I'm glad that they saved this match for a later date, as well as saving the clean finish for a later date as well if they end up coming back to this feud. So a very good match from these two. Really, really enjoyed it. I'm loving Sandow's push. The rub that he's been getting from the main eventers in the last few months, from DX to Raw 1000 to Sheamus last week to Randy Orton this week. Damian Sandow was on the rise on Friday Night SmackDown. If they continue to push this guy, I can see great things in the future of the intellectual savior of the masses. As far as the feud between Randy Orton and Dolph Ziggler goes, well, as far as Ziggler goes, his part on commentary, he played well. I liked what he had to say. He played a nice role in the matchup. And I'm loving the feud between him and Orton because it really helps get over Dolph Ziggler going in Night of Champions. If they have that match in Night of Champions, it would be fantastic booking. It could be an excellent match, as we saw on Raw last week, or this past week, and SmackDown last week, the rubber match between the two. Booking 101, it could be a great match if booked correctly. So really looking forward to the blow-off of that feud come Night of Champions next Sunday. Up next, a triple threat tag team match to determine the new #1 contenders to the WWE Tag Team Championships, where the primetime players defeated the tandems of the Usos and Primo and Epico. Pretty fun tag team match. We've seen a lot from these guys in recent months. It wasn't really anything out of the ordinary. I was glad to see the Usos, though. They usually aren't on television as much anymore as Primo and Epico or the primetime players. Nonetheless, a very fun tag team match. Primetime players emerge victorious here and become once again the #1 contenders to the WWE Tag Team Championships. Nothing really against that. I really want to see them win the WWE Tag Team Championships. If they lose at Night of Champions to Kofi Kingston and R-Truth, then I will be pissed because they've had 3 chances at the titles, and if they fail on the 3rd chance, and I've just lost absolutely all hope for them. So hopefully they do end up winning the Tag Team Championships come Night of Champions. The only complaint I have about this match was the fact that they didn't show the entrances for any of the teams at all, so it kind of made the match feel a little bit meaningless. But that was just nitpicking things. But other than that, a very fun tag team match. I'm glad that they're continuing to focus, or put more focus back in the tag team division that they've been lacking in recent months. Moving on, Wade Barrett makes his Friday Night SmackDown return for the first time in nearly 7 months, defeating Yoshitatsu, absolutely decimating the Japanese superstar. Pretty much a quick squash match, painless. Wade Barrett showing off his new bare-knuckle fighting style. I know he showed a bit of that before he got injured in the last 2 years that he's been with WWE, but now it's more focused on that style, looking a lot more vicious, looking a lot more brutal, looking a lot more aggressive, and it worked to the full extent. He has a new finisher now, spinning back punch, I guess you would call it. I'm not exactly sure. It looks like Cassie's Ono finisher from NXT, so I hope they don't kind of copy his gimmick. I love the Winds of Change finisher, so I hope see Wade Barrett continue to use that, as well as Wasteland. I know a lot of people shit on that move, but I love that move, so I hope he continues to use that as well. But anyway, Wade Barrett looked great here. Looks absolutely great in his new look. He's got the beard going now, and he's got arm tape and all that good shit. So a lot of good stuff from him. Following the matchup, he cuts a promo saying that he's done with these squash matches. He's better than that. He doesn't want to get bored of that kind of shit. And he's going straight in the world title picture. If he won't be put in the world title picture, then he said he was in business. And that quote, he said Wade Barrett is open for business. So a great promo from Wade Barrett. As you know, he's probably one of the best mic talkers in WWE today. Hopefully they continue to give the mic going forward. And I would love to see him feud with Sheamus over the World Heavyweight Championship this fall. Main event time, Sheamus versus David Otunga. Kind of a throwaway match. We've seen this numerous times. I have no idea why this is a main event match. This has probably been the 5th or 6th time we've seen this match in the last year. So there's really no need to do this match. But, Sheamus picks up the victory. But halfway during the matchup, Booker T came out and announced that the bro kick is officially banned. Now, I do like that they're actually doing something with the world title picture and they're trying to make it interesting. But the same old shit keeps on occurring. And it has to do with the lawsuits and the suing and all that garbage. We've been seeing the same thing for years. Just end it. It seems like they've been doing a lot more lawsuit shit in the last few years than ever before. I'm not exactly sure why, because that doesn't make for the best television. Raw does not equal law. No ratings. No one cares to see that kind of shit. So hopefully they don't think that it's going to bring intrigue to this feud. I do respect the fact that they're trying to build upon this through the world title picture, but it's not really getting me intrigued, so I really could care less. I just really want to move on from Del Rio and Sheamus. But nonetheless, I do respect the fact that Sheamus can now have more innovative finishes to his matches now that the bro kick is no longer in play. But another complaint that I have about the storyline, I tweeted this earlier tonight, was the fact that they completely copied this, and they've probably done this before this. But early last year with Edge, when they banned the spear of Edge for about 2-3 weeks, I think, when Vicky Guerrero was the interim GM SmackDown, Edge couldn't use the spear, otherwise he would have had to forfeit the world title. So it's kind of the same exact storyline, just switch roles with Edge with Sheamus and Vicky with Booker. So it's kind of a retread of that. But other than that, it was a fine ending to the show. Really no complaints about that. I mean, Sheamus versus Del Rio should be a good match in Night of Champions next Sunday, but I'm really, really looking for the ending of this feud because it just really run its course. So overall, a pretty good show. As you can tell from the video, I haven't really had any much complaints about this week's show at all. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. A lot of good action, as I said before. Wade Barrett returning was probably the highlight for me. Damian Sandow versus Orton, a great match. The opening tag team match is great as well. So there was a lot of things to honor and praise about this week's episode. So if you missed it, go back and watch it. A great episode to say the least. So, and also they definitely kept up the momentum going into Night of Champions next Sunday. A lot of good hype going in that event, hyping the tag team title match, the world title match, the IC title match possibly. So there's a lot of good things going into Night of Champions. Hopefully they continue the momentum going into next week's Go Home show. So I thank you guys for watching, and make sure to subscribe and to hit me up on Twitter at @SAVE_GSM for your thoughts on the video, and to make sure to enjoy your weekend. This is GSM signing out. Till next time, guys.